Hello, LeadHER Talks and viewers. Welcome. My name is Chantal Camarillo, and I am one of your hosts for today, along with my two other hosts and co-founders, Dr. Vanessa Montañez and Rosario Lawrence. And do apologize if you hear my little Rosita in the background barking. She'll be joining us for today as well. But with that, today is very special. Today marks our 5th anniversary of LeadHER Talks. And although we've been somewhat on the sidelines, a little silent, we're still here, very much alive, very much active, very much into motherhood, working hard and doing what we do. If you all remember, Vanessa, Rosario, and I happen to be in the mortgage industry for several decades. And during the pandemic, we decided to create LeadHER Talks. Super inspirational during a time where I think we all needed to be connected and yet grounded, given everything that we went through, including our families, our children, and how things have changed. It's been a very interesting journey altogether, a very inspirational journey where we were able to connect with so many individuals throughout this LeadHER Talks to educate, empower, and enrich women and those that support women. And so here we are, full circle. It is now Hispanic Heritage Month. And just a little background on Hispanic Heritage Month. It actually started in 1968 by Lyndon Johnson, and it was actually just meant to recognize a week, just a week. And that changed under President Ronald Reagan, which then announced for it to be an entire month. And so that's been an interesting evolution of that. But as a Latina, I will say it's a very profound month for me, given the fact that I also got married on Mexican Independence Day, September the 16th. But there's so many beautiful contributions, I would say, within the Hispanic, Latino lens in terms of art, culture, food, you name it. Just the contributions that we've played a role throughout the world, and not just here in the US, but just our overall contributions. And so I'm very much proud here to be amongst mis hermanas, Vanessa and Rosario. I'm wondering what it means to all of you as well, Vanessa and Rosario. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Vanessa Montañez.
Thanks, Chantal, and happy anniversary, ladies. On another note, on a personal note, today is actually my 26th-year wedding anniversary. So I have a double celebration going on today. And so I'm going to get ready to go out for a nice dinner. Along those lines, we just celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month. My other comadre here, Rosario, and I just got back from Avance Proximo, a NARA leadership, and it was about a 4-day groundbreaking conference where you had so many different leaders in various sectors coming together, where the business and your culture intersect, Latino culture, and with thousands of people here in San Diego. But what I walked away with was a feeling of inspiration and empowerment. And the one person that resonated with me the most that I listened to as a speaker was a Latino Mexican astronaut, Jose Hernandez. And I saw his movie on Netflix and I loved it. But when I heard him speak, I loved it even more because his wisdom just resonated with "Si se puede, you can do this." But his determination, obstacle after obstacle, when he was turned down by NASA because he always wanted to be an astronaut. And it was really inspiring. And his words of wisdom was his father's words of wisdom. And then he gave you a plan, his dad's words that the astronaut used. And then he also had a formula on how to get your goals done. And it was very simple, very simplistic. But I'm going to share with you guys because I loved his recipe for success. So you have to define your goal was one thing. The other one is recognize how far you are far from your goal. Create a roadmap to get you there, like a map. See the end in mind. Education is key. His father definitely believed in education because he has multiple degrees and a PhD also. Develop a strong work ethic. He really talked about that. And you see it time and time again with his resume. Persevere and never give up. I love that. And then he ended up with, how are you going to get to your goal? Know the minimum requirements. If you're going to graduate high school, what do you need to get there? If you're going to graduate with a bachelor's, what do you need to get to your goal? Know what the minimum requirements. If you want to get that promotion, what is the job requirement and the skills that you need to get there? Then compare yourself to people that you want to be like. So if you see that one leader that you're like, I want to be just like her, what did she do to get there? What are some of the steps that you can mirror and mimic to get there? And lastly, differentiate yourself from the competition. What makes you uniquely you? What makes Rosario and Chantel so unique that they need to get that position? So I just walked away feeling inspired. I loved his story because it was very real. He came from very humble beginnings, from being a migrant worker, picking fruit, and then landing where he picked fruit. It was like inspirational. And he was so humble and funny about it that we can all relate. He wasn't like, and I am the biggest person in the world. No, it was so humble, and what a great experience to listen. So that's what it meant to me. Miss Rosario, what about you?
It was beautiful to see his humble beginnings, which had so much aligned to how I grew up, and to see what he has done for himself and persevered. His resilience, 11 times denied from NASA, and then to finally be there, and the intelligence that he carries, and just made me very proud. And then to see what he's accomplishing with his children, highly educated children, truly the American dream, and a testament to why we just love being a part of this country and being so proud to see one of our own just really make it. And I couldn't be more proud. The other thing that I was really taken back by, and seeing the amount of young talent attend the Avance conference.
And I think that's a little difference that I think that they implemented in this conference this time around, where they have actually included the youth to participate. And so there's been this huge initiative to involve I would say, our children. They're reaching out saying, hey, do you have any, I would say, young adults, right, so to speak, so that they can come and participate and experience what would be NAREP, as well as their first launch of the the Avance Global conference that they were hosting. Personal health issues here, or for my mom who experienced a stroke. So that's been a real challenge, but nevertheless, it's been a blessing to know that I've been able to take some time away from work to care for her in her recovery process. And I did miss the conference, but nevertheless, I think that hearing from so many individuals, not only yourselves, but a lot of my colleagues that participated, they actually walked away really empowered as well. And so I applaud NAREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, as well as Gary Cosa, for putting together this conference. So congrats on that end. What else is going on with you guys during this month?
So what I wanted to ask the ladies is, as our 5-year anniversary, what plans would you like to do this year for LeadHER Talks? I know life happens, our careers happen, family happens, but what is one takeaway that we'd like to pivot or incorporate in LeadHER Talks this year that you're like, you know what, this is the year we're going to try this?
The beauty of all the beautiful things we experience. I think that the three of us collectively walk different paths of life, but we're still in the same industry. And then our friendship ties us in. And to put that out there for a lot of the women and men to share like truly deep relationships, take you into the years to come, and you grow together, and you have some setbacks sometimes, and then you move forward, and the support that we give each other. I think we need to share that with the world, because not everybody realizes that relationships can take you years ahead and really deepen the relationship and be like family. I consider you guys my sisters, my loves, and in the good and the bad, you've been there. And like even right now, Chantal shared, right? Hey, you know what? I've taken some time to take care of some things, my mom, and I love the fact that you shared that, because that's authentically what's going on. And sometimes we've all had things that happen, and many times you jump on and you're seeing you're scrolling, and it's like everything's so perfect. Hey,
Yeah.
sometimes setbacks, right? Whether it's professionally or with just life. But here we are.
There we are.
We hope to still be here, and you'll see that this trio, like when I was walking around, where's Trent? Oh my God. I love the fact that we are tied together, whether we are experiencing certain things in life, we're there for each other. And that means the world. Like I think of your mom all the time, and it's just because you guys are my family, and I want to share that with the world, because a lot of us have those relationships, in life. And then sometimes just life gets crazy. But there's nothing more special than to say, it's no problem. We can get right back where we started. Let's go. And that's how I see LeadHER Talks. We're getting right back where we started.
Yeah.
We us three have been behind the scenes talking together, morning calls and so forth. But I think we need to share that with the world.
I think we need to bring them in, demonstrating that not only to our viewerships, but this is something that does make us all human. And what I'm experiencing may be relatable to others and so forth. And so I also believe, Rosario, that part of LeadHER Talks, as well as helping us professionally grow and grow that network and the importance of growing that network. And I would say I've been extremely humbled during my leave of absence to receive so many text messages from individuals that I've heard, whether it's through WhatsApp, Messenger, or a text or a call saying, hey, I heard this is what's going on. And that is just the beauty of professional relationships that have evolved into friendships. And that's what I envision LeadHER Talks to be. A platform where we can all come together and not just us three, but make it bigger than this and bring in more individuals that we can interview to really showcase their contributions. This is how we grew that network, right? Because of the various conferences or the connections that we've made throughout our careers, whether professionally or personally, but they blend together. And I think that's really what I would hone in on, Dr. Montañez.
Being more authentic, having more real conversations, sharing our lives. So to me, it's all about the headspace as well. Sometimes for example, I'm sometimes driving a lot to a meeting, to an appointment, and then I'm like, okay, what am I going to listen to? But I love to be in a headspace where I'm listening to a positive podcast. And so that's where I'm going. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes I want to be like entertained mentally. So I want us to look at LeadHER Talks as like a great podcast that you could listen to and feel revived. For example, listen to the Diaries of a CEO or the Mel Robbins. These are just some podcasts that come to mind where I want to be inspired and learn a little bit more. So if we could do it in a real authentic way and for everyday people that are striving and making a difference, I think that would be awesome for me. That I'd love us to take that journey because sometimes we don't have a whole hour. So we're going to do them in smaller increments and just keep inspired and keeping it real. I love when we had the lady from, oh my gosh, you guys are going to kill me, where your face has to go like a chicken, rotisserie chicken. Remind me her name again.
Sonia.
Yeah. Love her. Now she has all these followings and we've bumped into her again at the Day of the Dead Muertos. And she was like, what? And now she's a huge influencer, even bigger than when we interviewed her. But I love that story of her that she moved from her, I think it was Washington. And now she's moved here in Los Angeles. But that was a real authentic moment. We had this huge influencer and I still follow her on Instagram and I love her. She's hilarious still. Those are like some journeys that I want us all to share so we can follow some pretty badass, amazing leaders that are making a difference in their own unique way, because that's what it's about. Like, how can we bring a little bit bring a little bit more essence, more spice, more pep to our step in our everyday lives? Because sometimes it's not easy, especially right now. And I don't even want to talk about right now after this new administration. Los Angeles is a little bittersweet.
Very bittersweet. But I will just remind myself when I see someone, a giant of a woman like Dolores Huerta, who is still fighting the fight. And so I will say that be proud of who you are, be who you are. And also don't be afraid and don't let anyone silence you or dim your light. Not one.
Look, she's 95 years old, Dolores Huerta, a living legend. Right? And she's still so active, so incredible in today's journey, in today's political unrest that we have. And so, sí se puede. Those are exactly her words. Sí se puede.
I think overall, like, that is resonating across all sides of the aisle, is using your voice and being proud of who you are. And I think it's important for our children to really have that also and share it with the young. We talked a little bit about how Norip had a lot of a young influence in the house. And it's beautiful to see them creating their own thought process and deciphering and really have the foundation where they know right from wrong. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of things that are going around that are very difficult for a lot of us. Who knows? They're important. And the beautiful thing is being able to openly talk through them as friends, as colleagues, as community, and open things up. But I agree with you, Vanessa, is keeping it fun also and genuine and light and airy, and yet still celebrate that sometimes things are not always rosy out there, but
No.
we will make it rosy.
No pun intended, Rosario.
Yes. Yeah. And be kind. Above all,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because it's a tough
that.
world out there sometimes.
Dr. Vanessa, you love to read, and you talked about inspiration and feeling light and positive. What is a short, like either a story you read or an article or book that you would say, hey, audience, you have to pick up this and read it?
So I just finished the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I started it with a book club with my nieces and family members, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm like, it's a really good way of not internalizing and taking things personal and know that it's that person's situation at the time and just let it go. And I'm pretty good about doing that, but I loved her voice, her tone. And now I'm listening to her podcast, and it's just, she's infectious in a great way. And I could relate to her in so many ways. So that's something that I just genuinely took away from right now that I'm enjoying, and it continued because now I'm an avid listener to her podcast.
Good to know.
All right.
What about you, Chantal? What are you working on right now?
I do have a little break in the day where I am actually doing some weightlifting, light weights, and then doing some exercising here and there. But every day is work, let me just tell you. But nevertheless, I'm doing that. And I just picked up a Nicholas Sparks book too. That was one of my first novels. Who doesn't remember The Notebook, right? And who doesn't remember Message in a Bottle? So I just happened to pick up his most recent novel. So I just picked it up recently. So I'm on that one. But right now it's just doing a little bit more me time as well, taking some time just to really hone in on myself and lifting a little bit of weights. And that's it. That's what I'm doing on top of all of the other stuff. And then this weekend, setting up for October, it's Halloween's right around the corner. So I'm like, the kids definitely need the house like fully glammed up for Halloween. And so that will be my weekend journey. How about you, Rosario?
That's awesome. I have felt a little bit all over the place the last couple weeks. I had a little issue here at home, so that threw me off. The house is a mess. I have a new job that I started 60 days ago, right? So I have all this kind of noise inside. What I did this week after NARIP, I attended NARIP. I walked away really inspired. And then I said, no, I have to collect my thoughts. So with that, Miss Vanessa or Chantal, we will wrap it up. And we look forward to staying in touch and sharing additional like aha moments and just a day in the life of Dr. Vanessa Montañez. Maybe she will post about the many of the up and coming presentations that she's going to be doing across the country. I think she has 6 coming up. So she is extremely busy, but we are all committed to showing up. And Chantal and I may pop in here as well. Chantal, I say you upload a picture of what your house is going to look like for Halloween because you do an amazing job.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, we need to show that. Okay, so let's just do a podcast on you on Halloween. So one of our other amazing friends, Teresa Palacio Smith, goes to the 9th degree on Halloween, very similar to my sister. So
she definitely steals the show.
But my sister also and her husband created a maze in their yard, and it's like the talk of the neighborhood.
I know.
Similar to Teresa. So I'd love for us to discuss that on one of our next podcasts, on our next talks with LeadHER Talks. It's Halloween because we all love Halloween.
Oh, now I'm pressured to do the maze. I wasn't planning to do the
Oh, no, then don't do the maze. But just show your animation
my kids
stuff.
want to do the maze. I'll let you guys know what the verdict is after this
Yeah,
weekend.
even the animation, animals or figures are incredible. Very.
I know, but let me tell you, we just went to Spirit Store yesterday. the price points on all the stuff that we once bought
The
like,
next level.
on the next level.
Yeah. So now you have an investment, Chantel.
Yeah, I invested. Now it's a fixed asset. I'm going to be depreciating year after year.
You write it on your taxes. Just kidding.
All right, everyone. Does that conclude our LeadHER Talk?
Yes. I tried that.
Bye.